Let me teach you how to vibe.
Yeah, we back. I had to reset. I was like, I don't know if it's like, usually when they do that, it's like some kind of security update that I just haven't had the update for yet. I'm gonna have some editing on my hands to fix the shop talk between all the crashes.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Yeah, we should be back. Yo, VR, Darius, Sean Smith, what up? Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. We crashed. We crashed and we bite. VR, what them Steelers gonna do, man? And I have been waiting to catch you in here so I can ask you a question. I got asked one of the resident Steelers. He said the work never stopped. Yeah, it don't ever stop, but we welcome it. You know what I'm saying? It could be. I don't know what the weather is like outside. It could be some bad weather or something. I don't know. Usually when it do like that, when it just be kicking and dropping, it's some kind of security issue that like updates. But I'm about D4. What up? But yeah, I got a question for Vincent Rivers. When he comment back in the chat to let me know that he here. All right, so hopefully if DK back, so I just want the boys. All right, so I made this post saying that the two longest tenured coaches in the NFL, who both are highly regarded, both have won a Super Bowl, 20 years of coaching, and Mike Tomlin would have been on the hot seat if the field goal goes in, even though it would have been a tie if the Pittsburgh field goal kicker would have made the extra point, right? Then you swing and it's wide right. Tyler Loop missed the kick. Justin Tucker is out because of his off the field issues. And now the Ravens lose and the Ravens fired John Harbaugh. Do you think the Steelers would have fired Tomlin if that field goal goes in the same respect the way that the Ravens got rid of Harbaugh? And then immediately, as soon as Harbaugh is let go, he jumps to the top of the list of all the coaches that were being interviewed. He got 7 coaching offer interviews in 45 minutes. It would have been the same for Mike Tomlin if he was to get let go. And now the Ravens is the most sought after job for the head coaches because you're stepping into Lamar in his prime in a really good, a really talented defense. I don't know. So what did you think, VR? Like, do you think Mike Tomlin would have got fired if the Steelers lose? Yeah, 2-time. I don't know what's going on. Tornadoes and I mean, it was 70 degrees. I don't know if y'all looked at my story. My daughter was climbing a tree outside, riding a bike. I was outside with shorts and a t-shirt on playing. Like, that's crazy. Truly crazy. But I do want to know from the Steelers faithful, do they think that Mike Tomlin would have got fired if that field goal goes in? And looking at the landscape of now, John Harbaugh is the most sought after coach and the Ravens is the most sought after job, I think Mike Tomlin would not have got fired. Because it's interesting to see that I didn't think that Harbaugh would get fired, but he did. So it's like, it let me know that these front offices be listening to the media. Because that was interesting to see that even with Lamar being out for like 5 or 6 weeks and the Ravens having an up and down year, them missing a field goal from 30 yards got a coach that was spent, because you can't convince me that, let's say the field goal goes in and the Ravens go to the playoffs and they lose in the playoffs, that was Harbaugh still getting fired if they made the playoff? I don't think so. He had more than that calling him. There were teams with head coaches. Know what I'm saying? He got 7 calls and only 6 vacancies was available at the time. So it already was one team that had a head coach that had reached out to him. They're saying that it was Miami because, you know, McDaniel hadn't already met with the GM about him being retained while that was going on. I think Harbaugh got fired because the relationship with Lamar is not good, allegedly, according to the rumors. But see, it's like Lamar didn't even play half the season this year. And if you're saying you do that, if they go out and get another defensive minded coach, it's not going to make sense. Like, to me, Cliff Kingsbury seemed like the guy that would be going to Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy who just had a crazy season with Jaden Daniels, like Lamar is Jaden Daniels on steroids. So I don't know. Like that's gonna be interesting to see how this all shake out. Brian Daboll to the Titans as an offensive coordinator, not as a head coach. I really want one of the young coaches with 2 veteran coordinators on his flanks. Personally, just because, like, if you look at Tomlin and Harbaugh, when they started, like, they in their early 60s now, which meant that they was in their early 40s when they got the job. You want a 10, 20 year run like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to get somebody that's at the end of his fire. You know, like the Raiders with Pete Carroll. Like, Pete Carroll's a Hall of Fame coach, but he just got fired and they were bad. And the Seahawks got good once he left. So it's like, maybe it's time for Pete to go on the ESPN or the NFL Network desk and chew his gum and talk with a suit on. Doug Peterson, coordinator. Like, give me 2 former head coaches as OC and DC, and give me Shula or Kubiak or somebody like that as my head coach. Yo, Chaz, what's good? What you got going on? My stream we did an hour, and right at an hour, like, I don't know if it's the weather or whatever, like, Facebook kicked and YouTube kicked and I was like, all right, let me just reset, and I just had to edit it for the shop talk tomorrow. It said John or Tomlin will be the biggest coaches hires of the offseason. It really will be. Because, like John Harbaugh gonna have his pick. Like, if he go to the Browns, that mean he petty and he wants some get back. You know, if he choose to go to, I could see John Harbaugh in Atlanta though. Honestly, like, I could see him in New York. I could see him in Tennessee with Denard Wilson as his defensive coordinator. And
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Because it's gonna be some coaches that get to the interview and that team would not be able to get them the coordinators they want, or the coordinators they want might not be able to come. So, like, a lot of these interviews is gonna be like, yeah, you said you want this guy, and this guy, but you can't get this guy. So who is your second choice? Then it's gonna be somebody that's like, yo, I want this, and this. All right, cool, we can make that shake. Like, it's gonna be some that ain't gonna be able to get it done. Content day off, just checking in. Hey, I appreciate you checking in. What you planning? What you got up your sleeve, Corey D? Rex Ryan deserves a job. I would have love for Pitt to get him as a DC. Somebody should hire him. I personally don't like Rex Ryan. He was the last coach to have the Jets doing something, but I personally not a fan of Rex Ryan. I think Harbaugh going to Miami is a dumpster fire though. Like they got Tua with that big contract that you can't move, and medically they got it messed up. Tyreek Hill, does he even want to play football anymore? Like, just look at the exodus. I said this before the stream crash. Like, look at the exodus of players in Miami. Raheem Mostert, Jonnu Smith, Jalen Ramsey, Javon Holland, Christian Wilkins, Jerome Baker. Like, they had an exodus of so many players that they still are in a cap nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could pick another team and have way more at his disposal. He could pick the Raiders and get the number 1 pick and convince Max Crosby to stay. He could come to the Titans and have a blank slate and 10 picks in the draft. And Denard Wilson, he already worked with, is still there because the Titans haven't fired any of the assistants yet. He can go to Atlanta. They can figure out the situation between Penix and Kirk Cousins. He could go to New York. You got another first round quarterback and a lot of pieces on defense to play. I don't know. It just, what does John Harbaugh want to do? If Dan Campbell got fired from the Lions tomorrow, would you want him as a head coach? I like Dan Campbell's passion and fire, but mighty spicy. Ben Johnson went to the Bears and 1 year won the division. Aaron Glenn had a bad year in the Jets, but it's the Jets. It's to be expected. So, like, Dan Campbell got to prove that he can put them coordinators back in there and get back to the playoffs. Reporters say he's not making any decisions until next week to meet any teams. He might just sit out for a year, and that's something that people haven't considered. I consider that. Like, what if he want to chill for a year and spend some time with family? It's been a 20-year run. The emotions of your season ending on a field goal might be a lot for him. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good observation, Dre. Thoughts on Atlanta blocking Dallas from interviewing their DC? They're on full with Dallas. She say back and better. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. Hiring Nagy. I think it's better options than Nagy out there though.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
What if they bring Nagy in to run the offense and let him call plays because he can't call plays? And see, this is the thing that goes against Nagy is he ain't calling plays. Andy Reid calling plays. So that's like similar to Brian Callahan was under Zach Taylor but not calling plays. Like he might want to go be an OC somewhere just to call plays. Could be that because that's him and Josh McDaniels. That's their path back to being a head coach. I want one of the young coaches, bro. I just do. Put all the coaches in the hat and put your name next to it at this point. Yeah, that's why I said this morning when I shared it out, I said, just redraft, man. Every coach getting fired, just redraft the coaches. Yeah, I'm watching the game too. Now it was good. Tony Dungy come back and coach? Nah. We not bringing Tony Dungy, Rex Ryan, John Gruden. Even though they did go scrap up Jason Garrett, I think they just scrapped Jason Garrett as a homeboy thing for them to eat some hot chicken and talk about what he would do with the team. What's good now? I think it's more of a brain scratching thing. If they hired Jason Garrett as a head coach in Nashville, I think the whole fan base would faint. That's the thing with some of these interviews. Even though they get hired as a head coach, they can set themselves up. Yeah, and I think that's what it is like, they're like, man, Titans interview, like, because the reality is everybody not. That's why I was saying, like, with so many jobs open and so many people interviewing, and some of the coaches still being in the playoffs, like you might say this is your 3 people for your staff, but Bergonzi, like, he can't get this guy. I know he can't get that one. Okay, this one is gonna be available, but not this one. I could put these 2 guys with this guy. This guy said he worked with this guy. You know what I'm saying? It could be a situation like that. And Becker, I think that's the sauce. I think that these teams is doing due diligence. Then too, you gotta think the Titans have been sitting back for 12 weeks knowing that they're hiring a coach. 12 weeks is like, that's 3 months in the NFL. That's like a whole world. When the Titan staff is so big, from Burke Nihill to Chad Brinker to Mike Bergonzi, Reggie McKenzie, like they have so many people on the staff that they've been pretty much researching who they're gonna coach, and like now it's just a time to see what everybody's plan is and assemble the best staff as possible. 8 interview requests with 4 scheduled. Yeah. And then like the fact that Harbaugh got fired late and McDaniel got fired late, it just spins the carousel even harder, because some teams that might feel like they had a good idea, Harbaugh pops up. You know what I'm saying? Like some teams might thought they had a good idea of what's about to happen, and then Miami comes open and the coach that you wanted wants to go to Miami. It's just because for each of the 7 jobs, it's a head coach, defensive coordinator, and offensive coordinator, and special teams coach. So it's like 4 people are coming off the board, depending upon relationships and who gets hired where. When you think about 4 people coming off the board at one time, like that's not a little bit. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like four people coming off the board at one time is like kind of like the NFL draft. Like imagine somebody picked somebody and 4 players came off the board every time somebody picked. So this is going to be interesting to see. Y'all one of the last teams to make a hire. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean that's why I say the Titans have had 12 weeks, like really longer than 12 weeks, because when they demoted Brian Callahan from play calling, they had to know that when they demoted him from play calling that he wasn't going to turn the team around in 2 weeks before he got fired 2 weeks later. So I'd say more of like 13 to 14 weeks that they've known that they're going to hire a coach. And I think we all knew that the coach getting hired was not going to be Mike McCoy. So, and then, you respect that Denard and Bones Fossil is like, yeah, I'd love to be the coach. And Mike McCoy, I'd love to be the coach. But we all know, like, yeah, because I don't think none of y'all getting that job. One coach to avoid, Zach Taylor. What's up with all the drafts saying we taking Arvell Reese? The way the board fell, Ty Simpson saying he coming out. If Dante Moore come out, the Titans will have their first shot at edge. thinking that maybe the early draft grades like Arvell Reese better than Ruben Bain. But all I'm saying, Corey, if we stick and pick at 4, it gotta be edge. If we stick and pick at 4, it's gotta be an edge. If not, we gotta trade back. Agree, but I want Ruben Bain. I mean, then we got the Senior Bowl. We got the Combine. You know, now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think AI says that Arvell Reese runs a 4.6. Arvell Reese go out there in the Combine and run a 4.4 like James Pierce Jr. Ruben Bain, I don't know. Like, the draft is not kind to Ruben Bain by the short arms. Missed us yesterday. We right back. I said trade back, please. But I mean, it's to say, like, what if Ruben Bain plays the rest of this playoff and he's getting 2 sacks a game, and do you miss out on that? You know, Arvell Reese, if he come out and run a crazy 40 time at the Combine, is gonna be, or Keldrick Falk. Like, what if Keldrick Falk have a crazy Combine workout? Like, I don't think David Bailey could get up to that high in the draft, but either we draft an edge. In my mind, it's gonna be Bain or Reese, or you trade back and try to get as much capital as possible. The 2 receivers, Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson, they're not Tetroa McMillan. They're not Travis Hunter. They're not Jeremiah Smith. I'm not taking a receiver at 4. We got too many holes to take Jeremiah Love at 4. So now that we know what we're picking, it's either going to be one of those 2 edges, or they surprise everybody and take a tackle offensive line. Like, I don't see that. I just don't. I think they have to trade back. If Moore and Mendoza go 1 or 2, hope we trade back and load up on picks. It depends on who y'all coach is. If y'all coach believes in Kyler Murray, if y'all coach don't believe in Kyler Murray, and Dante Moore, Ty Simpson is sitting there. Dun, 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 dun. He said the underwear Olympics is what it is, but Bain is a monster. I agree. I feel like Mike Berganza is going to trade back somewhere in the draft and get more top 100 picks. That's what I hope happens every time. We pick 4, 35, 66 in the first pick, and the 4th, which is 101. Then we got multiple picks in the 5th and 6th. So, I mean, honestly, you know, if you trade back and pick up 2 more picks and you getting David Bailey, or you getting the best corner off the board, you know, like, you have to think in terms of that, you know. So the Browns, the Rams, the Cowboys, and the Jets all have multiple first round picks. Everybody had their pick last year, but this is a year where it's like 4 or 5 teams that's got multiple first. Downs, nah, we not. I mean, we just drafted Kevin Winston Jr. in the 3rd, and they just extended Hook, so I don't see Downs. We can take a wide receiver in the 1st if, let's say, we traded back and we had multiple firsts, or we traded back and we had a late 1st and like picked up a 2nd and a 3rd. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. And then that end of 1st round pick was Denzel Boston or Concepcion or somebody like that at the back of the 1st. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We still got to get to the Senior Bowl. We still got to get the Combine. We still got to get all the coaches hired. And then, you know, you still got to have your pre-cuts last year we picked up Lockett the night before the draft. So it's like you still got to have a lot of this early signing period. It's a lot gonna go on before we even get to that point. So, you know, just think my draft board last year. Y'all remember somebody like trolling me? Rest in peace. Kyron Lacey was on my draft board last year as like a 3rd round pick, and somebody's like, I'm like, then later on, you know, after the season was over and bruh, because I put mine out in like December, like bro had died. I'm like, damn, it's crazy. Like, so I had somebody on my draft board that died last year. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's gonna go to jail. You know, Chris Bell was really high 1st round, probably guaranteed 1st round, and then he got hurt. So Chris Bell's probably gonna fall like Nakobe Dean did a couple years ago, because Nakobe Dean was looked at as the best linebacker, interior linebacker coming out that draft, and he wound up going in like the 5th or 6th round because he knew he couldn't play the first year because of that torn pec. To be fair, if we trade back, I'm taking Jeremiah Love. Took Derrick Henry, we got a sweet deal, and we had DeMarco Murray, same with Chris Johnson. We took him when we really didn't need one. Like I said, it depends on what you get when you trade back. Tony Pollard gonna be due $9 million next year. You can cut him for $2 million. Tajay last year, Khalil Mullen to be there. You still got free agency. I just think with Bergonzi's background, Pacheco in the 7th last year, Kyle Monunga in the 7th, Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins, like a lot of these backs that's young backs that's balling is not first top picks, because we got so many holes. And I've done the mock draft so many times. If you take Jeremiah Love, the quality of what you can get at edge changes. That means you really have to get some goons in free agency at edge. If you took a running back high, obviously you probably going edge or guard or defensive back with your next pick. The quality of what you're trying to get at those other positions like severely decreased. So it's like you better off trying to hit Nick Singleton or Raleek Brown or Henry from Texas San Antonio, or a late round running back that can be effective, than saying, you know, because the thing about drafting Derrick Henry was a 2nd round pick when we traded back out of golf. So it's like similar, but it wasn't a 1st round pick. I think Jeremiah Love gonna go in the first 10, 12 picks. So it's like, I just don't see him making it to the 2nd round. Derrick Henry made it to the 2nd round. AJ Brown was 2nd round. You know, it's like, so I just don't see Jeremiah Love falling down far enough if we trade back, that if we was picking around 10 or 12 on the trade back and David Bailey is there, or the best corner in the draft is there, it's gonna be hard to pass over spots that we really need raw talent in for a running back when we got so many holes. Because you got to remember, depending on who we bring in as head coach and the staff we bring and the scheme we're going to run, that's going to have a lasting effect on what free agent wants to come here too as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to have Jeremiah Love. I just think that we in a bad space to try to get a running back in the first. I want whatever my Cowboy Smoker, he mocked us drafting Jeremiah Love at 3. Man, them early mocks, they just be trolling. I need Branch on this team to pair with DK and Corey. When everybody was crying about Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson, and I said, trade back, get Denzel Boston, Chris Brazel, or Jacoby Lane, or Chris Bell, and then pair them with Zachariah Branch. And next year you would have Branch, DK, Aomana, Strep, and then you have a dunker out there. Because we need a twitchy guy. We need to. I can't be convinced that Makai Lemon and KC Concepcion, like athletically, can do something that Zachariah Branch can't do. and he's gonna get picked way lower than him. Kevin Winston fell. He was supposed to be at first, but he was hurt though, because they knew he wasn't gonna play the first half, and they still mismanaged his injury too. The way they brought him back, like they still mismanaged it. Yeah, I hit last year. I had Gunnar Helm. You know what's crazy? I've picked our tight ends. I picked Chig one year and I picked Gunnar Helm. Let me go back to what my draft. Last year I said we either taking Cam first or we're gonna trade back and get Shador. I said potentially Jackson Dart. Like that's where I was at on my board. Then second I had Edge, but I didn't pick Femi. I didn't have Femi yet, as I didn't have Femi. And I was like, we didn't have a third round pick. So like most people wanted Luther Burden right there, but I was like, man, we really probably gonna go edge. So like Kevin Winston was not on my board. I had another safety on my board. And then I had Gunnar Helm. I had on one of mine I had Aomana, but never had DK. I never had DK on any of them. Never had Marcus Harris, never had Jack. I had the positions. In the position where we got Khalil Mullins, I had Ollie Gordon. And then a lot of times if Ollie Gordon wasn't there, I was looking for a big back. And it was somebody in my chat that's saying, Mullins from Michigan. I forgot who it was. And I was like, so I started picking Mullins late round when Ollie Gordon wasn't there. But every time Ollie Gordon was there, I took Ollie Gordon instead of Mullins. So it's like I was like, if you go to the mock draft simulator, I start early. Like I've been doing it for months. So it's like every week, a couple times a week, I just go through the simulation because the AI changes the position where people are gonna be at. Then the combine gonna change it. CFP gonna change it, and then people getting arrested or whatever's gonna change it. Like Tavondre Sweat, I had Tavondre Sweat. I had Tavondre Sweat in that draft. Who else I had? I done had like a bunch of people be around where I thought that was gonna be it, because I was like, either they taking Cam Ward first, or they're gonna trade back and try to get Shador. It's the craziest. Some of the edge rushers you were talking about last year coming out there had a quiet rookie years. Landon Jackson, Jack Sawyer, and JT. Yep, them was cause see, I was like, the Titans don't got a third round pick, and last year we was trying to see what the Titans would pick in the second because they didn't have a third. And then when it got down to it, I didn't have Femi. I think what I had was, I think I had it in reverse. I was like, either they taking Luther Burden or they're gonna trade back and they're gonna go defensive back, then edge. And in the third, I had Landon Jackson, Jack Sawyer, and JT. I kept taking them. And it was Kyle Kennard. He popped up on one of mine. But the way Bergonzi traded back, he threw me for a loop. And in my mocks, I was picking Helm as my first pick of the fourth round. And then like with that extra pick, I think I picked Aomana one time, but I didn't even know who Chim DK was. I ain't gonna lie to you. When they picked him and he popped up, because I did the draft stream and I'm watching his highlights and I'm like, I just don't remember but hey, look what it turned out. That's why they scout the deepest and the darkest. Like I think last year everybody they picked was damn near a team captain in college. That might be some of their thing. Who I got in my mock draft. Hold up, let me go find it. If I stick and pick, usually I get Bane at 4. My last one I traded back and I had Keldrick Falk at 7. Zachariah Branch being a lot of my mocks. Dalen Everett, Keontae from Miami. Late round running back. I like Raleek Brown. I like Henry. I like Nick Singleton, Marlon Klein, Joe Royer at tight end. If we picking off, if they don't think Jackson Slater is him and they pick an offensive guard, I like Basantis in Peregnon from Oregon. But the AI be flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping. Like this was the last mock that I had. I'll pull it up. All right, so look, I'm finna show you my last mock that I had. Watch this. This is my last mock that I had. I traded back. I had Keldrick Falk, Denzel Boston, Emmanuel Pregnon at right guard, Oscar Dip, tight end from Georgia. That's assuming they don't bring Chig back. Zachariah Branch, Malik Muhammad, cornerback from Texas. I got an offensive tackle from Florida, Austin Barber. All these people we watch tape on stream, on the late night streams on Kick and Twitch. That's why y'all need to follow on Kick and Twitch. That way, when I do the late night streams, when we watching the game tape and the highlights, that we don't get copyrighted. Raleek Brown, running back, Dalen Everett. Horton is going to transfer portal, so he wouldn't be. That's why I say like the AI be changing. So Isaiah Horton would not be on the there because he's going to the portal, and then AJ Harris, cornerback out of Penn State. So like, but we can do one tonight on stream. 2 times. Don't start that, man. If we was talking about the Giants, you'll be here for it. If we was talking about the Giants, you'll be here for it. See, sometimes they have some very, 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 very unrealistic AI. See, I got Cardinal Tate at 16 on the trade back. Brandon Sis, Pregnon, Zachariah Branch, Dennis Sutton out of Penn State, Barber, Jacob Rodriguez fell down here to 144. Singleton, Everett, Michael Taft, safety from Texas, and then Brett Norfleet, that huge tight end they got in Missouri. And I had a 2nd round and a 6th round of next year's draft. Like sometimes the AI can get crazy. It's fun to do early mock drafts, but the early mock drafts is gonna change once the AI updates, when the CFP is over, when people go to the portal or declare to come out, and they'll update the AI to the point where it'll pretty much be like a real big board. Because right now, like Nick Harbor is 6'5" and gonna run a 4.2 40 at the combine. He's not gonna be the 250th pick in the draft. You know, it's like some of this stuff is gonna move. Drafted David Johnson in the 3rd round. Need to run back in 2015. I was wanting to take Gurley or Melvin Gordon. They was gone by the time we picked. But hope the Giants hire Harbaugh, Stefanski, and I make Mike Kafka the permanent. Oh my goodness, Mike Kafka gonna have Jackson Dart permanently in the blue tent. If Mike Kafka is the head coach, he's gonna permanently have him in the blue tent. Matter of fact, let me pull a draft.
Let me teach you
We
how
can
to
do a
vibe.
mock right now. Y'all can kind of see what I mean by the AI changing. It's gonna be some people like, man, I know he ain't gonna be right there, or oh yeah, that'd be good if he was there. And like, if you just do this a bunch of times, you'll start to see where players could potentially fall, barring there ain't some mega trades. And then you get to see what the AI thinks that a team would trade you for the position that you in. Because I think Bergonzi worked wonders last year, trading back off of Luther Burden and getting Femi and Kevin Winston. LaPraz, what up? All right, so here we go. We can look at what a mock draft looked like for the Titans. It's got the Raiders picking Mendoza, Dante Moore to the Jets, Carnell Tate to the Cardinals. Titans will be at 4. According to this, let's see what the trade offers look like. The Saints would offer us the number 8 pick and the number 42 pick. They first and second for pick 4. I would take that trade if I was the Titans. The Chiefs are offering 9 and 40 for 4. If I'm the Titans, I take that trade. The Commanders are offering pick 7, pick 71, and a third next year to drop to 7. I would have to think about that because that's a 3rd round pick. That ain't a 2nd round pick. You know, but you do get a 3rd next year and you only drop in 3 spots. So but I'm saying it do crazy stuff like that. Becker, that's why I say like you gotta wait till the AI really update itself. So like if this is the case, RVL Reese, Ruben Bain, and Keldrick Falk is on the board, that would be a prime candidate to take one of these trade offers because one of the 3 would probably be there, right? Then if you're looking at offense, that's why I say like Jordan Tyson, Jeremiah Love is the other 2 top 10 people that you got to consider that would be there. Like, and you look at the Titans picks, it's 4, 35, 66, 101, 142, 144, and 181. Like, bruh, if you trade him back from 4 to 8 or 4 to 9 and you getting a pick at 35 and 40, you could get your guy and then trade back in this top 100. You could have like 6 picks. Like that's the type of stuff that the Titans got to be trying to wheel and deal and do. If this is the position that they're in, because I like doing the mock drafts because, okay, let's say you are at 4. This how you look at it and say, all right, if we drop back to 8 or 9, Jordan Tyson might still be there. Lemon, Concepcion, Boston, Chris Bell. Then you think about your other pick is 35 and 40. Man, why does this keep having all this extra stuff? I need to get a new mouse. 35 and 40 would say like Chris Bell, Jeremy Bernard, Jacoby Lane, Chris Brazel all would be around when you get to that pick. You know, if you wanted to go guard, you got the best guard on the board. If you trade back, will still be there. But there's a good chance that Basantis or Pregnon will be there for your 3rd pick. You know, if you like tackle and was hoping one of these tackles fall, one of these tackles might fall. You know, like I doubt it because offensive tackles come at a premium. Defense, you have to look and say, see, this is why I think you stick and pick at 4 if you want edge. If not, you know, like Ruben Bain, Keldrick Falk, RVL Reese is there. But once you get past that top 10 where David Bailey's sitting at, you all the way into the 2nd round for TJ Parker, DJ Ungulale's brother, LT Overton, Kenyatta Jackson, R. Mason Thomas. One of those guys might have a good combine, but it seemed like a big drop off that it's only 3 edge rushers that's graded out that 1st round. Like I said, if one of these 6'5" dudes run a 4.4 like James Pierce Jr. did last year, that might change it. But you know, you look at corners, there's no corner that would be a top 10 corner this year, and they've only got 5 people that they consider would be a 1st rounders. So like, that's the thing is like probably your best depth is to scout better at cornerback. I just don't know you take a cornerback in the 1st round because your 2nd round corners is Sis, Scott, Chris Johnson, Neal, Wheatley, Igbinosun, Matthews, D'Angelo Pons. You know, it's gonna be like a lot of names that's gonna fall in that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round at corner. as opposed to like edge. Same with receiver, but edge, I just think if you think one of these guys, Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, Kendrick Falk, David Bailey, if you think one of those guys is your guy, you got to get him. Y'all trading y'all fifth. West deals is on the table for y'all. I can go in and look. How much would Carson Beck stock rise? I mean, his statistics has been asked, so it ain't like Carson Beck has been, the reason. I mean, Texas A&M, they didn't score no points. It was all run game. And then Ohio State, it wasn't like he was out there wheeling and dealing. I think he had 138 yards. For his stock to rise, he would have had to been out there just really wheeling and dealing. I just ain't seen it. So, I mean, for you, 2 times, the mock say Mendoza to the Raiders, Moore to the Jets, Jordan Tyson to the Cardinals, Ruben Bain to the Titans. The Giants would be sitting. No, is it still going? Let me start over 2 times because I don't know if the site freezing up or what. Let me see something. The site might be confused because it's the first time I never picked the Titans. Let me see. Okay, all right, look. The 49ers offer y'all pick 22. So you dropping from top 5 to 22, but you get 22, 53, 88, and then 49ers second and fifth next year. Do you drop 17 spots to get that? Even if I was the Titans, I think I would take that. That's kind of similar to what the Browns got from the Jags last year, is a first round next year and then 3 picks. Yeah, I mean, because just think, you're going to pick twice in the second and then twice in the third, and then next year you're going to have a second and a fifth. Like, if I'm y'all, I'm taking it. And I'm taking the best corner on the board when y'all get there. He's had a solid first half tonight, 156, 1 touchdown, no turnovers. But Ole Miss defense ain't like Ohio State defense, and like Texas A&M. Ole Miss defense ain't the same. He said what the Ravens take. Ravens down here at 14. Let's say the Giants took the trade. Let's see what the Ravens would he had y'all taking the offensive guard from Penn State, probably replacing Falele. So the Jets got Ruben Bain and that's a hell of a draft for the Jets. They got Ruben Bain and Ty Simpson. Jets got Ruben Bain and Ty Simpson. That's a hell of a draft. She say, yeah, nah, we take it. Take Hood if he would have been available. Yep, Colton Hood is there. 6 foot 195. There it is, 2 times. And then just think, if you looked at y'all board, y'all would take Hood right there. You would pick at 37, 53, 88, and 105. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 100 picks. You don't get the top 5, top 10 talent, but 5 picks in the top 105. If your front office doing their job, y'all will be straight. Dog defensive tackle in the second. All right, so let's see. If y'all took Colton Hood right there, we doing comedy 2 times. See, comedy 2 times, we just know he just be sour because we ain't talking Giants. All he had to do is say, hey, bro, can you do one with the Giants? He just tired of seeing the Titans. Let's see. Amari Washington. Lee Hunter is really good. Like, see, y'all could get Colton Hood and then get Lee Hunter right there. Like, that's not good value because you picking 37 and you pick again at 53. It's not good value to take Lee Hunter right there, but I think Lee Hunter is the next best D tackle because I think that the best D tackle is old boy from Clemson, but I think like Lee Hunter, you probably want to pick something else and then hope that Lee Hunter is there at 53. He say Lee Hunter at 37. Snatching fast. All right. It's Lee Hunter from that's the D tackle from Texas Tech. And then let's see. All right. Then you pick at 53 and 88. Where would you go next? What position would you want next? Does this say wide receiver, offensive guard, cornerback, offensive tackle, linebacker? What position you want next? And then we'll just go to that position. He said offer to pick 53. Oh, you want to see the trade offers for pick 53. The Jaguars is offering y'all to drop 7 spots and give up a third next year for pick 81. That's not beneficial to y'all at all. And then the Carolina Panthers want pick 53, drop 4 spots at 57, give you 89. Both of those trades are bad because they want to trade third rounds with y'all. So it's like you doing them a favor. You dropping spots to get a pick swap next year. That's not a pick. That's not a trade that y'all would take. Because they ain't offering y'all nothing extra this year. They want y'all to still give up picks. You be doing them a favor. What position would you go to next? Let you see safety. Emmanuel, McNeil, Warren, Genesis Smith. I think Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon would be the next best safety right here. Because Thieneman is like Cooper DeJean. He that white boy that run fast at safety for Oregon. Thieneman, give us the Ducks. Safety. All right. Let's see. All right. They want y'all to drop 40 spots and give up a pick. No. They want y'all to drop. Well, these teams don't like y'all that's trying to trade with y'all. They're offering y'all to drop 40 spots and get nothing back. All right. What position you going to next? Linebacker. Tarian York, Cody Barton, Jack Kelly. Well, you got, to me, picking in the top 100, you got, it's kind of a reach. You pick again at 105, and I don't think Galladay could be, but I think it'd be a reach taking a linebacker right here. Every one of these dudes to be there in y'all next pick. You want York from Texas A&M? That's a 5'10" linebacker though. I mean, Galladay is 6'4", 240. York is 5'10", 227. He's an undersized linebacker. I don't know that New York would be good with no undersized linebacker. And plus, I think Harold Perkins, I think is better. Jacob Rodriguez and Santarine Perkins, I think is better. I think you should wait on linebacker. I don't think it's no value. Let you see guard. Yeah, I don't think that's. You got Relish. You got Jaden Roberts from Bama. Offensive guard. That would be close. I still think that's a reach. What other position? Because they say wide receiver, guard. You already took a cornerback, tackle, linebacker. So say tackle and wide receiver is the other two places. Let's see. Tackle. Then overall, he said, I know my last pick is a field goal kicker. But I mean, Colton Hood, Lee Hunter, Dylan Thieneman right there. So far, like, but see, that's how you get to see how a mock would look. You could do that 20 times over, you know what I'm saying? And then when you do it so many times, my bad, I had clicked it off. But I was like, but you could do it 20 times and get 20 different sets. Miami finna beat Ole Miss, ain't it? He said, what's the next team we doing? Y'all want to do another team? Let me know. He said, let me call my picks in. Becca, what you trying to do, Cardinals? That's $1 billion question. Is they trading Kyler Murray or not? I think it depends on who they hire at coach. Depends on if the coach they hire thinks that they can fix him. All right, say he down. All right. Would you drop Tua for Murray in Miami? That wouldn't be a good trade for either side. Cowboys offering 12 and 19 for pick 3. Miami's offering 11 and 43 in a first next year. What you think? Them some good trade offers. 12 and 19 or 11 43 in a first next year. Browns go. I don't think so. I think if you're a head coach and you take the Browns, Shador is your quarterback. If you get a head coach that likes Shador and come in and says I want to take him, who do you like for the Titans head coach? I would be fine with a young guy like Kubiak or Shula and veteran defensive coordinator, veteran offensive coordinator, like guys who have head coached before. He said no, he don't want to do the trade. He wants to draft Dante Moore if he's there. All right. Becker has taken his number 3 pick. Then we can go back and see who everybody else got. My mouse is ass, bro. All right, so the Titans taking Carnell Tate. Giants took Jordan Tyson. Browns got Arvell Reese. Caleb Downs to the Commanders. Jeremiah Love to the Saints. David Bailey to the Chiefs. Ruben Bain fell all the way to 10 to the Bengals. Peter Woods to the Texans. Fanu to the Cowboys. Sonny Styles to the Rams. Mansour Delane to the Baltimore Ravens. Makai Lemon to the Bucks. Jamal McCoy to the Vikings. Maui Goa to the Lions. Ty Simpson to the Jets. Terrell to the Cowboys. Sadiq Chargers. Concepcion to the Bills. Lomu to the Niners. Caden Proctor to the Dolphins. Colton Hood to the Rams. Keith Abney to the Panthers. Ola to the Steelers. Banks to the Eagles. Mandonald. Denzel Boston to the Bears. CJ Allen to the Patriots. TJ Parker to the Bills. In a trade, Brandon Sis to the Seahawks. AJ Halsey, safety out of LSU to the Jets. All right, you pick at 34, 65, 104, 143. Trade offers are 34 and 215 for 71, 147, 234 of next year. That's a lot of spots to drop. I don't like that. The Falcons want y'all to give up pick 104 and 34 for one. No, those trades are bad. Those trades are bad. Wide receiver not bad. You need a cornerback. Zay. All right, Becker, you got to pick. You got your quarterback. Where do you want to? What position do you want to go next? It says y'all need tackle, guard, wide receiver, cornerback. But I'll let you call it. You know your team better than the AI. What position do we go next? Because those trades are ass. Second round, go offensive line or edge. We'll go edge first while you figure out tackle or guard. You got Ungalale, LT Overton, Kenyatta Jackson, R. Mason Thomas, Cassius Howell. Offensive tackle, Blake Miller is still there. Austin, Max Hennicher, Monroe Freeling, and then guard, my two guys, Basantis and Pregnon. But I'll let you call it. What is the measurables on the top two offensive tackles? Blake Miller, 6'6", 315. And Austin, 6'5", 325. I know Blake Miller is more thought of than Austin. Say you want to see the AI pick at 37. If I went tackle, I'd go Blake Miller. Miller. All right. Let me pause the draft. Giants took offensive tackle Austin S. Titans traded. Titans traded out. Let me see who the Titans took up here. Titans traded out and took Will Lee. Let's see. All right, now you picking at 65 and 104. 96. 84 more pick. Bro, they stay trying to pick. They don't respect y'all, Becker. They want y'all to pick swap. All right, so you took tackle, quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback, guard is the next three team needs, but you know better than the AI. What position you on now? You got quarterback, offensive tackle. How tall is Igbinosun? 6'2", 193. 6'2", 193. What edge looking like? Let's see. Josh Josephs, Anthony Lucas, Zion Young, Dennis Sutton. Now, y'all remember when AI first started, I told y'all Zion Young and Dennis Sutton, they was like 200. Now they both moved to like top 100 picks as the season went on. Igbinosun. All right, let's see. Had the Titans taking Parker Brailsford center. After that, interesting. Titans took Dennis Sutton. Bro, like they taking people that I'm saying I thought they would take. All right. Now this is a good trade, but it's a drop in 25 spots. So you have to look at the board. New England is giving you 129 and 130 for 104. Giving up a top 100 pick. But okay, so we took your picks. You took quarterback, tackle, cornerback. Other needs was guard, wide receiver, unless you had other positions. Guard, Jaden Roberts, Alabama is the best guard to take right there. And then wide receiver, you got a few guys. CJ Daniels, but if you thought like this, how it works though, to me, if you didn't want Jaden Roberts and you wanted to wait and get like a different guard like Trey Zoom or somebody, or if wide receiver, if you said, man, I want to go for CJ Daniels or Barian Brown or Striblin or somebody else, then you take the trade and add 2 picks later in the round. But if you like somebody, I mean, Justice Haynes is still there, Jadarian Price, 2 running backs fell. 2 running backs fell right there. Allen from Penn State is there. So you always got to go back and look at the board and see who the best available overall player is. Justice Haynes is still there at 104. Who you got, Becker? Who you got, Becker? Cause you pick there, and then you don't pick again to 143. Haynes at 104, but we are running back in the future with James Conner getting up there past 30. PJ Williams, offensive tackle, SMU. It had Tristan Lee, offensive tackle out of Clemson for 2 times. If he's there in the next round, I know the wide receiver you're going to take. Traden Stukes, 6'2", 198 out of Arizona. I need to look up his tape. Traden Stukes. What wide receiver are you taking? So far, you got Dante Moore, Blake Miller, David Igbinosun, Justice Haynes. That's a good draft right there so far. What wide receiver is you taking? Deion Burks out of OU. D tackle from Penn State to New York. Josh Cameron, wide receiver out of Baylor. All right, so Dante, Blake, Igmanosin, Justice Haynes, Deion Burks. Got Lully, DJ Campbell, Carmona Jr. If you was gonna take a guard, this would be a good time to take a guard. These three right here, I like Lully, Carmona Jr., and DJ Campbell. But then again, Damani Jackson, Jacob Rodriguez, Jack Indries, Gabe Jackas, edge rusher. See, you be finding some people when you just go to see who's Marlon Klein, Cade Klubnik. You know, when you just go to best available overall player, when you get to that spot, you start to find people that potentially fall. DJ Campbell out of Texas, that's not a bad pick right there. Let's see who is taken above. If I got seen cornerback Andre Fuller, Nick Barrett. Who did the Titans take up here? Marlon Klein. Hey, see, I just made the post about Marlon Klein. Then there he goes. All right, look, y'all heard it here first, man. Marlon Klein to Tennessee. Marlon Klein to Tennessee. Y'all heard it here first. What I told y'all. Let's see. And then you got one pick at 215 in the 7th round. Here's your bonus pick. Who you want? Hey. Let's see if he's still there. Nah, he gone. Tisk, tisk. Who's your bonus player? You didn't take an edge. Caden Curry is there. Dang, hey, great minds think alike. Look, I was thinking it for you. Becker. Before you even put it in the chat, I was like, there you go. You can screenshot that on your phone. You could crop me out, man. I know I'm not the best looking guy, man. That's not a bad draft though. Dante Moore, Blake Miller, David Igbenogson, Justice Haynes, Deion Burks, DJ Campbell, Caden Curry. Trade Kyler Murray and get some more draft pick in the future. You know, new coach Dante Moore got a bookend tackle, another corner to go opposite of Will Johnson. You got a offensive guard to work into rotation, another edge. You got a running back, Deion Burks, to work in with Dortch in the slot. That's why I tell y'all, like, you got to just do the simulator a lot of times for your team, and then you start to see who will be around and who won't be around. See, I do it so many times. I could do a speed run on the Titans. I do it so many times. I do it so many times. I could do a speed run on the Titans. Like, I damn near know who's gonna be there. Yeah, like, You see, last year we took Tyler Lockett right before the draft, so it's like it kind of changed. We got 4 offers, 15 and 45. $21, $56, $87, second and third. It'd be hard for Bergonzi to pass that up. That's a lot. Buffalo's all in on somebody, but that's a lot of draft picks. But KC giving us 9 and 40. But let's just assume that we stick and pick. Like they say, Arvell Reese becomes a Titan. Let's say Arvell Reese does become a Titan. Yo, Atlanta, that's a bad trade, brother. Green Bay, that is a bad trade, brother. Y'all not giving us nothing this year. All right, Titans get edge. Offense. Your guard is there. Defense. Cornerbacks is there. Offense. Wide receivers is there. Jeremy Bernard, Jacoby Lane, Chris Brazel. Depends on what the Titans do in the offseason. You're saying we need wide receiver, edge, cornerback, tight end, linebacker. Cornerback and wide receiver will be at a premium. Next pick is at 66. Next pick is at 66. Really, do you want Jacoby Lane or Chris Brazel, or do you want Brandon Sis or Chris Johnson? That would be the 2 corners I would look. The way I look at it is what's behind that: Igbinosun, Matthews, Takario Davis, Malik Muhammad. You know, if do you where would y'all go? Would y'all go cornerback or wide receiver right there? He said, "You going again? I know you lying. Look he was he hitting the blunt slow one, and we talking about the Giants like, let me see them guards again. Let me see the kicker. Let me see the kicker. Let me see. No, let me see the running backs. Let me see. See, when we talking Giants, he over there. But really, it just depends. You know, right there, if you the See, Nick Harbor announced he was coming out, and then he's not even on this sheet, so they got a lot to fix on this. What's crazy is we didn't get no good trade offer for that second round pick. if they believe in Jackson Slater, they'll skip over these guards. But really, you got to think about cornerback or wide receiver right here. Wow, was good. Yeah, I mean, I could do one where we take the trade, and I could do one where we pick straight through. Would y'all go cornerback or wide receiver? Who would y'all take? Bernard, Lane, Brazel, Sis, Scott, Chris Johnson, Julian Neal,
Let me
Will Lee.
teach you how to
Who
vibe.
would you take in a second? Kenny O, Stephen B, what up? Who would y'all want? Cornerback, wide receiver. I'm really stuck between Brazel and Jacoby Lane on receiver. In corner, I like Chris Johnson and Sis. Like Will Lee too. Will Lee got the size. Pause. If you go in second round, but you know, if like honestly, if it's me, let's see who would be available if the Titans was to trade back right there. Let's see who would be available. Bro, what is this website is bugging in. Only thing is, like, Kansas City won't pick 101. I don't know about giving them a top 100 pick. See, I like the Saints better. I give up 181. Like I take the Saints pick. I take the Saints trade back. I'm not giving you a top 100 pick in a trade back in a pick swap. So if you pick 8, 35, 42, 66, and 101, with a potential you can still trade back at 66 or 42 to add that value, like double down on it. Damn, bro, like this website is so buggy. All right, so if you trade back there at 8, Hildrick Falk, Jordan Tyson, Jeremiah Love is there. If you want your edge, If you want your edge, Kendrick Walker's there. If you want Jordan Tyson is there. So it's a good chance if the Titans do trade back and stay in the top 10 that they could get what they want.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Y'all done any of this playoff stuff? I doubt it. I think the color rush might look crazy. Bro, what is up with this? Of course, Madden freeze. Maybe one of the worst products of all time. Mark Fletcher might be nice in the NFL. Mark Fletcher might be nice in the NFL. Mark Fletcher might be nice in the NFL. Bro, like, why is Madden so bad? Bro, when I say this is just a bad product, it's just a bad product. Yeah, I seen some of those mock-ups with the gray uniform. Bro, like, this is just a bad product. Never seen a game that freeze more than Madden, bro. Who's the next head coach that get fired? I can't think of nobody currently in the playoffs that could get fired. I don't see that. The Bills head coach is gonna keep his job. The first round exit to the Jags. I mean, they're gonna be late into the fray. Like, who you getting after 7 different teams? Then got that guy. Titan. Daquan Jones and Aziz is Titans. Tomlin, I gotta say, like, they gonna do promote Arthur Smith. Stranger things have happened. I guess we can both attest to that. Stranger things have happened, but Malachi Tony is just fast, huh? All right, look. If y'all tapped in on Facebook and YouTube, we're gonna reset onto Kick and Twitch late night streams. We can do other things. Appreciate y'all, man. This shop talk will go up in the morning. I will chop it. I'm gonna have to do some real work because I had to chop it twice. Appreciate y'all tapping in. God first in the chat. 60 seconds. We back on Kick and Twitch.